Chapter 1. The Church of Content. We're in a church. That's not a metaphor. That's literally where this started. Greenville, North Carolina. The Bible Belt. When I began building studios, there were no warehouses here, no production facilities, nothing. But there were churches. So we bought one, tore out all the pews, ripped out the rows of seats where families had sat for decades, and we turned the whole thing into a studio. That's where we started filming. And then the videos grew, and the church wasn't big enough. So we built a new studio and converted the church into a thumbnail gallery. Now it's one of 4 dedicated thumbnail rooms. Think about what that means for a second. 4 rooms, just for thumbnails. When you're watching one of my videos, what you see in that thumbnail took an entire team, an entire dedicated physical space, and an entire system to produce. If I had to travel to every real location just to take thumbnail photos, I'd be doing it 5 hours a day. So instead, if the video needs a beach, we pour sand on the floor. We put up a high camera. I lie down. We shoot 40 variations. Done. I get a year's worth of thumbnails from a single hour in Greenville. That's the reality behind the thumbnail you clicked on. Chapter 2. The $120 million machine. I'm going to spend $120 million on content this year. That number is real. That's what it costs to do what I do, at the scale I do it. That's buying private islands, building cities from scratch just so I can film inside them for a week, creating entire environments that exist for the sole purpose of generating 60 minutes of footage that will be compressed into a video. But the spending is just the visible part. What most people don't see is the infrastructure underneath. 6 years ago, I started building internal tools, analytical systems that YouTube itself doesn't have access to. I was tracking data that didn't exist anywhere else. Whether views were coming from long or short videos, how each individual video was performing relative to the channel's baseline, rating every video on a performance scale out of 10. The most powerful tool is what I call exceptional performance detection. Every YouTube video that dramatically outperforms the channel average gets flagged. If a channel normally gets 1 million views, and suddenly one video gets 5 million, that video goes into the system. We study it. We ask why. And from that data, ideas emerge. That's how $1 versus $1 million hotel was born. I saw cheap versus expensive comparison content spreading across every format on YouTube. Beauty channels, gaming channels, cooking channels. When something works across multiple formats simultaneously, that's a signal. The audience is telling you something. So I didn't copy any single video. I took the signal, amplified it by a factor of 1,000, and made it mine. 2 years ago, I decided to take everything I'd built for my own channel and give it to small creators. It cost more than $2 million to turn my private tools into a public platform. That became viewstats.com. 12 more tools are coming. The free version alone is better than anything that existed before. Because I genuinely believe that if I can give a kid in his bedroom the same data advantage I had after 6 years of building infrastructure, the whole ecosystem gets better. And if the whole ecosystem gets better, I get better. Everything is optimized. Everything is measured. Nothing is accidental. I want to be the most subscribed channel on Earth. I've spent 14 years building toward that. YouTube runs in my blood. There's something meaningful to me about a single content creator. Someone who started alone with a camera at age 11, holding that top spot instead of a company with 1,000 employees. I'm not diminishing them, but there's a symbolism there I care about. Chapter 3. The Obsession and the Cost. Here's what nobody tells you about building something like this. You don't think about it some of the time. You think about it all of the time. There is no off switch. When I'm on set, I'm thinking about YouTube. When I'm not on set, I'm thinking about YouTube. My girlfriend knows this. My team knows this. I know this. That's not something I'm proud of or ashamed of. It's just the current reality of what this requires. I have a secret Instagram account. Most people don't know about it. The reason it exists is that I use it to study content, to observe what's working, what's resonating, what patterns are emerging, without my own presence distorting what I see. It's a research tool disguised as a social media account. The obsession goes that deep. Someone asked me recently if I've thought about having kids. I have a girlfriend. I have a dog. That's where I am. And I'll be honest, the idea of having a child someday sounds extraordinary to me. Teaching a miniature version of myself everything I've learned the hard way. Turning them into a business mind by the time they're 15. I would have given anything for that kind of guidance when I was starting. But I know what having a child actually requires. You have to think about that child constantly. Whether you're with them or not, your brain is always processing that responsibility. And I realized that's exactly what YouTube is to me right now. YouTube is already occupying that mental space completely. Every hour, every day. If I brought a child into my life today, I would fail them. Not because I don't care, but because I've already made a different commitment at that level of depth. And you can't split that kind of attention and have both things survive. The machine requires everything. That's not negotiable. I started this channel at 11 years old. I made a video when I had 8,000 subscribers telling my future self that I hoped maybe someday I'd reach 1 million. That video unlocks in 15 months. When I filmed it, 1 million subscribers seemed impossible. Now I'm approaching the top of the entire platform. Every dollar spent, every church converted, every island purchased, every hour of sleep traded in, it was in service of that kid talking to a camera in his room, genuinely uncertain if anyone would ever watch. I made a promise to that video. I intend to keep it.